What? What? Asians and African immigrants are calling for unity. They are appreciating Black Americans. Aww. Now they now realize that without Black Americans, they wouldn't have been able to even come to Americans to look for greener pastures. The surprising part is Asian community, Hispanics and Latinos, calling for unity. Ha! Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credits belong to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in this episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. With that being said, though, let's go and watch. I'll be back with commentaries.
African American, Asian, and other communities realize that they share the same oppressor is the day we start winning. Because we are the majority in this country.
But we know.
We have the ability to take over this country and to do what is needed for everyone and to make things fair.
We know.
But the problem is our communities are divided. They're completely
Why?
divided. And I talk about this all the time is that like for Asian Americans and for African Americans, we probably have one of the worst relationships between any community.
Well, I bet you a lot of Asian Americans too don't, in my experience, don't even realize that if it wasn't for the civil rights movement, if it wasn't for that,
yes,
there would not be 22 million Asian Americans in this
country.
country.
Hello.
Thank you. So, and what I have been trying to teach the Asian community is like, friends, do you understand that your success, your prosperity, your civil rights that you enjoy right now was paid for with Black blood? Yes.
The thing is that we know. We've always known. And we sang it from the rooftops. But people just don't want to listen because they want to be the model minority, especially the Asians. I've seen multiple videos of Asians saying that they were taught that they needed to align themselves with whiteness, uphold white supremacy, so that they could be the model minority and get more benefits and have a easier, successful life when they migrate here. All of the other immigrants, I don't even know what they think. I don't know. But it seems like everybody generally, they're told to avoid us. They're told that we're bad. They believe the negative stereotypes and the negative propaganda that they see when they're back home praying and dying and wishing to come over to America. They see these negative images of us. They see us on TV fighting, and they're only shown negativity. So it doesn't matter what we say. It doesn't matter how many of us that they meet that's successful, literal millionaires, 100,000aires, business owners, holding multiple degrees, rearing children successfully, living in beautiful neighborhoods. It doesn't matter. They still want to compete with us because they want to be better. They feel like we're ungrateful and we don't deserve what we have. An immigrant told me this earlier on a panel. And ultimately, it seems like they just don't like us. Now, not every single individual person from these communities have or share these same sentiments, but enough do, to whereas it's like the collective. So we know this. We know. But do they know? And maybe they'll hear it and receive it better coming from someone that looks more like them. Spread love is the Brooklyn way.
African Americans made it cool to be black, but
my brother is spitting nothing but facts. African American culture is spectacular, and you have to give them respect where respect is due. Getting taken away from your motherland and having people beat you down every single time you try to express yourself and show your cultural identity, to creating the most influential culture in the world. The Harlem Renaissance, jazz, hip hop, rock and roll. They were literal movements that shook the world. The effects on film, entertainment, sports, and not to mention the civil rights and human rights movements that have come from African Americans alone. They are a triumph of human will. It is insane to me that people can disrespect them and say they have no culture. They are the culture that everyone wants to emulate. You gotta respect it.
As an African, I respect and I love African Americans. I respect and I love African Americans. Do y'all understand? African American culture has literally spread throughout the whole world.
I think this is the biggest flex. Having your culture stolen and then making your own culture from the ground up in the country where they enslaved you at. And then you got everybody, even the colonizers trying to be up in that culture. Oh my God, that is powerful right there. I can't even comprehend it. Oh my goodness. Black Americans, you did that shit.
Black Americans are incredibly powerful, right? Like one of very few groups that was ever able to not only shrink the power and privilege hoarded by wealthy white men in USA, but also foundationally dismantle the premise of what USA is about. USA was branded as free nation or whatever, but it was designed to be a Christian white settler colony. And it had structures that would ensure that the power remained in the hands of wealthy white men. It was 100% legal to enslave and or murder Black people. And it was 100% legal to only give voting rights to wealthy white men. What Black Americans, African Americans, and Black Americans accomplished is not just open the door to the fortress. It is breaking down that fortress. The dismantling people are looking for have already been happening. And I think one of the things that is really critical in this conversation is that USA was built as a Christofascist settler colony built on racial caste system called white supremacy, not because those are the powers that they wanted to use, but because those are the powers that were available to them. To think that USA or any kind of power structure, any kind of dominant structure would limit themselves in where they draw that power is one of the big mistakes in today's conversation.
I feel we Africans do not appreciate your sacrifice that much, because if it's not for your sacrifice, a lot of us Africans would not step foot in any Western country. Your sacrifice a lot, set a pedestal for us to climb. You all did a lot of sacrifice. That is why a lot of us Africans can migrate into other countries like America, UK and other parts of the world. If not for your sacrifices, we all should appreciate your sacrifice and everything. A lot of my African brothers are not going to agree with me on this, but let me tell you something.
Ever since I moved to the United States, I have assimilated to the culture. I am Nigerian. Now, I already have a lot of culture packed into me, but something about HBCU, the whole fraternity culture, to a degree, a lot of it is just motivating. It just makes you want to go get them. Go get them. Go take over the world.
I actually want to talk about how great Black America is. I know, you might be pleasantly surprised, because I've always seen Black America as a cultural force like none other. It's kind of hard to really quantify their impact, but you see it every day in all corners of the world, from the way that people dress, to the usage of AAVE, to the music and art that people consume, to the constant imitation of everything Black Americans do. America is a global powerhouse. This is a country that gave us Michael Jackson, Luther Vandross, Stevie Wonder, Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, Beyonce, Serena Williams, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Eddie Murphy, Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey. I can go on and on. This episode could literally be me just talking about some great Black Americans. The global and dominant cultural cachet Black America has cannot be overstated. Their culture is the most imitated, referenced, commodified, monetized, and mimicked form of blackness in the world, and that is an undeniable fact.
I understand that we have our differences. I understand the grievances that we have as a people from Africa and a people in America. I want to ask you to look past that for 1 second and just hear me out. Right off the bat, I want to acknowledge one thing. For those of you who consider yourself indigenous to America, I want you to know that I respect you. I respect your heritage, your history, and your claim. And I also understand that you will never leave America. You would rather fight and die for this land, and that is commendable, and it is your prerogative.
The Civil Rights Bill is the reason why our parents got to come over here. 1964, Lyndon Baines Johnson, who was one of the most racist son of bitches on the planet, had to sign that civil rights. But Martin Luther King is right next to him. Right. Yeah. So that is the reason why Koreans can come here. Koreans, Indians, Arabs, Nigerians. It's because
Shout out all the African Americans out there, man. This is coming from a black immigrant. We appreciate you setting the foundation and providing great examples on how to navigate being black in America, man. It means a lot to me and us that you would extend your culture towards us and just create an environment that's comfortable enough for us to assimilate into. I personally know that I wouldn't be who I am right now today without the presence of African Americans in my life. I'll tell you that. And I know there's ignorant people on both sides of the coins, but we're not talking to them right now, man. We're talking to black people out there who understand that a united black front, oof, nobody want to see that.
This isn't necessarily an easy thing to explain because my life has been very complicated and challenging and oftentimes really confusing. You see, I was born on the streets of South Korea, and I've told you guys this before. And I begged for money every day. I didn't have a home. I lived in the woods. I ate whatever I could get. And so, even though I was stolen from my biological family and sold a couple times until I was adopted by an American family, I had lived a life that I would not necessarily wish upon other people. But even that being said, I've always been a positive person. I've always been able to find the silver lining. And so when I realized I was going to go to America, the home of dreams, I was excited. Even with everything that I had lost, I believed it was going to be worth every teardrop. But when I came to America, America didn't want me. When I went to school, elementary school, kids picked on me. And when I went to middle school, kids picked on me until I was too big for them to pick on me and too strong for them to ridicule me because I looked so different. And so I thought that maybe I would find other people that looked like me, that would accept me. But Asians did not trust me because the way I sounded, the fact that I had embraced the American ideals, truth and justice, the American way, to be just like Superman and help people that needed help and help people that could not speak for themselves. Honestly, there were times where I didn't want to wake up. But the people that accepted me were not the people that I had ever known. My first best friend was a little black girl when I was a little kid in Anchorage, Alaska. Their family accepted me with open arms because they too had experienced what I had experienced, but for the longevity of their history. I loved rock music when I was a kid because that's what I mostly heard from my adopted family. But when I got a little bit older, I heard the message of NWA. I saw what they were fighting for. I fell in love with the music from Belle Biv DeVoe because it showed me a side of me that I didn't know existed. When I watched black people struggle just to be heard, just to be acknowledged as humans. I realized that I was one of them. I was one of millions of people that have suffered and endured exorbitant amounts of hate and pain. To wake up every day and thank God for what they have. That is strength. That is character. And I could honestly go on, but this video is almost 5 minutes already. If you're interested in learning more about my story and how Black people have shaped my life, Black culture has ultimately changed my destiny, please subscribe. Subscribe to my Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube, and we'll continue on. America has become top 3 destinations for Africans.
Thank you for the truth.
Who can afford an education or who can come leave the continent and come here for an opportunity. America is top 3.
Hello.
And then we land here, we click Black in an application form, Black or African American, and guess what? We're all of a sudden in one bucket. So whatever they went through, whatever they paved, hardships in anything that we're trying to achieve, we're going to have those opportunities and those chances because of them.
He gets it.
When you actually understand that, like that even empowers you more.
Shouts out to this African guy for actually telling the truth, because so many Africans, and people from outside of America in the diaspora come here and they disrespect us, they denigrate us, they undermine us, while literally not even recognizing or giving grace or thanks for the fact that they're able to come here and have the opportunities and the liberties that they do because Black Americans paved the way. And I feel like they know this. Y'all are watching me. You all know this. Yet for some reason, deep down inside, it kills you to admit it. I don't know why. You come here, we embrace you. Well, we used to. I mean, now you all have done so much damage that it's not even the easiest to embrace you the same way that we used to, but we embraced you. We shopped at your businesses. We promoted your brands and your companies. You set up shop in our neighborhoods and we welcomed you. We supported you. It is also because of us that you were able to be successful in the political world, because we thought that you were one of us. So we elevated you. We voted for you. Now that we see what's going on, you all, instead of, saying, dang, I mean, and there's pockets of you that will be like, it is not right when people come here and they just talk down and denigrate you when you did pave the way. You decide to kind of dig your heels in and stand on a hill that is not right. Somebody's arguing with me in my comments now saying all of the stars that you all love don't have an American background. And they named Nicki Minaj, Biggie Smalls, and Rihanna. Y'all hear me say spread love is the Brooklyn way. Y'all think that came from Biggie Smalls. Biggie Smalls did not come up with this saying. He put it in a song because he heard Black Americans in Brooklyn, New York saying it. The same as we would say Bed-Stuy, do or die. Brownsville, never ran, never will. Biggie did not come up with spread love is the Brooklyn way. What he did was he got into, his neighborhood with his mother in Brooklyn. I think his mom was Jamaican. And he adopted the customs, the beliefs, the vernacular, the swag, the energy, and the art form of Black Americans. Same with Nicki Minaj. You'll hear her every now and then speaking with her, Caribbean accent. But the art form, her, Rihanna, their art form initially was not that of where they came from. It was of Black American descent. No matter which way you want to turn the key, we literally have paved the way for a lot of people to make money, to become millionaires, to be able to send the barrels back home to their countries. And yet you will get up on this internet and talk trash about us. And it's not okay. It's not. And we finally entered the chat and started to say something back, and y'all absolutely can't stand it. And when people say they want to delineate, y'all are devastated. Shouts out to Kanata Way. He said that one time in a video and it just tickled me. Y'all are devastated because we're saying, hold up, we're not all merged together. You heard what that African guy said? He said we click Black or African American and then we all become one. It's because they know in order to get ahead in this country, they have to cosplay us. They have to embody who we are. And that's how they get ahead. I love it when people tell the truth about it, but for the ones that don't, stop lying to yourselves. and have some respect. I would never come to your house. I would never come to where you live. I would never come to a house that you built and tell you you ain't shit and take everything that you built and say you didn't build this and try to lie and rewrite history and destiny swap. It's a sickness and it's given demon time at this point. Spread love, Mr. Brooklyn Way.
Garvey came over, we made Marcus Garvey a thing over here. We gave Marcus Garvey international clout. When other people come over, we embrace them. In fact, when immigrant groups came over here, it was us fighting for immigrant groups. Even in the early 1900s, around 1915, it was black people fighting for immigrants to come over here from the Caribbean because the white supremacists had all types of rules and statutes that they didn't want black people coming over here. Speaking of Marcus Garvey, it was Booker T. Washington to help get Marcus Garvey to come over here.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of folks don't know that. In the 1960s, it was foundational black Americans using the momentum from the civil rights movement fighting to get immigrants over here from Africa and the Caribbean because we wanted them to come over to be reinforcements for us, you see.
I wanted to make this video of kind of a quick rant on some things that I found while doing research for my other immigrant video. Now, we know the Democrat Party has been trying forever to replace Black Americans with immigrants, but they were doing it all the way back before the Civil Rights Movement, but they expanded it during the Civil Rights Movement. I know we are very critical on Hispanic and Latino immigrants, but one group we do not touch is the Africans. All right? When our people or Black Americans were fighting in them streets during the Civil Rights Movement for rights, for economic resources, when our HBCUs were fighting for scraps, our U.S. government, led by Lyndon B. Johnson, was sending hundreds of millions of dollars to Africa to bring them here. In 1962, there were still African nations coming into the United States on a ship, not with chains. They were looking like this. Let's bring up the photo. I want you guys to really look at this picture because I know many of you have heard that, typically probably from the older Africans, that they came here with nothing, right? They came here with scraps and just whatever they had in their pocket. Well, look at this. This is a ship coming from Africa to New York in 1962. Yes. And I really want you to look at this. Does this look like poor people? They have suits, ties, jackets, briefcases, nice glasses. And for the most part, they're standing right next to white people. Though in the United States, Black Americans were not standing this close to white people because of segregation. Okay? Let's go to this next photo. Look at this. Look how poor they were, y'all. They call this poor right here. They call this scraps. Nice clothes, right? Briefcase. Look like they have some maps or something like that. Jackets. Don't look nothing like Black Americans, but here they are. Next. Look at that. Next. Oh, wow. Inside of a home with white people, drinking tea, having a good time during segregated America. When our people were out there fighting for their rights. Lyndon B. Johnson and the Democrat Party was under a lot of pressure by Black Americans. Black Americans started to really despise the Democrat Party. And when Martin Luther King was assassinated, things really turned up in this country. And Lyndon B. Johnson and the Democrat Party had a decision to make, and that decision was we now going to help Black America economically from their demands that they have about slavery and Jim Crow? And instead of them pumping that money into Black America, they pumped it into Africa. They said that Black Americans had become ungovernable. They have become too radical. So they wanted to go get a new, safe Black person who was manageable and docile. I want to bring up a few of these companies before I close out, y'all. Well, institutions, I'm sorry. And Africans, I need y'all to understand, this is not no hate to y'all, bro. Y'all be quick to say people hating. This is not hate. This is a part of history, and this is a big reason as to why y'all are here. One of these institutions was called the African American Institute, and they actually changed their name back to the Africa American Institute. And the thing about this, y'all, this thing was founded way before they reclassified the American Negro to African American, meaning they already had a distinction between us and them. During a 25-year period, the African American Institute, or the AAI, received over $135 million, which is more than $1 billion of American taxpayers' dollars. Okay? This money was specifically designated for scholarships, visitor programs, and educational infrastructure for Africans, not Black Americans. Another one we have here was called the ASPAU, or the African Scholarship Program of American Universities. This was launched in 1961, y'all. And like I told you, HBCUs were struggling and fighting to get government funding. USAID pumped millions of dollars to bring Africans into this country, into United States universities. Our Democrat government, they paid for these people's living expenses. They gave them monthly stipends, purchased cars. And not only did they put them in regular universities, they put them inside of Ivy League schools such as Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and gave them full tuition paid for. Last one I have here. They actually had a Cold War budget. It was being operated by President Kennedy as well as LBJ, but LBJ ramped this thing all the way up once Kennedy was gone. They say it was so-called to fight against communism, y'all. This is what they said. They wanted to fight against the Soviets. They were spending $20 to $30 million a year, which is more than $200 million a year now, specifically for African educational aid and exchange programs. So while the Democrat Party told you they did not have money for what we would say now is reparations, they were giving it to Africa. And when these, and not all Africans, all right, when some of these Africans are saying that they are the most educated, they are the doctors, lawyers, engineers, y'all, this was done by design. Oh, man. But we have a real deep video coming in on this, y'all. I just wanted to stop in here and give this one. Let me know if y'all knew about these different funds that was going on. Let me know if you knew that these people were still coming here on ships in 1962. I'll see you guys on the next one.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and thank you so much for watching all of that video, and I hope you guys enjoy every single clips I've been able to roll out for you guys. Honestly, one thing I've literally known right from when I started knowing the deep histories of Black Americans, I have literally known that the only way to enjoy staying in America is to understand the history of Black Americans, understand their struggles, understand their perspective, and honestly, you will literally not have any issues with them. Okay, what's flying on my screen? Literally not have any issues with them. But a lot of people tend not to understand the parts where Black Americans are coming from. And at the end of the day, they'll make it look like, oh, Black Americans are the problem, or Black Americans are the ones that are always bringing out issues, or Black Americans are always saying, oh, they're the blueprints, they're the blueprints. Why would they always keep saying that? It's just a whole lot to deal with when you see people talking about Black Americans, why in real sense, they literally do not understand their struggles. So for someone like me that understood their struggles, I really do appreciate these guys, these African guys that literally appreciated Black Americans, because that was literally what I wanted. They should understand where these people's struggles are coming from and know exactly how to appreciate them. Like, it's not that difficult. Like, it's not that difficult for you to appreciate someone that gave you all of that opportunity to be in America. It's not easy. If it was easy, you would have stayed in your country. If it was so beautiful in your country, so glamorous in your country, you would have endured in your country. But for the fact that you have left your father's house and your mother's house, the best thing you would have just done for yourself is to study these people's history, understand the parts where they're coming from, and then know exactly how to approach them. Simple as ABCD. Black Americans are not even asking for too much. They're not asking for too much. So I love to call a spade, and whenever I see people do something great, I really love to appreciate them. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of these creators that took their time to understand and appreciate Black Americans. Like, that was just the best thing that you people should have done. But for the Asians calling on Black Americans unity, they should come as one. They are people of color, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, I don't trust Asians. I'm not saying Black Americans should be having issues with them, no. But I just realized that a lot of these people idolize white folks more. So whenever they see that the doors of them entering into this white folks is being shut down for them, that was when they will now realize that, oh, they need to have a close relationship with Black Americans. They need to do this with Black Americans. They need to come together with Black Americans. While on different podcasts, on different angles, you will still see them backbiting Black Americans. But anyways, I'm not saying that there should not be any unity, like I said from the beginning part of this video. But one thing I will keep saying is this: if you're dealing with the devil, you have to deal with the devil with a long spoon. That's just the honest truth. You have to understand the parts where the devil will come for you, so that you are literally going to be ready as well. But anyways, let me not talk too much. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in at this episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.